Hey, welcome back to Zombie Tactics. Tonight, kind of picking up on a couple of themes that are common on my channel. One of them is the idea of survival on the cheap. I know some of you don't like the idea of using the word cheap, so let's just say inexpensive or being frugal. It's something that I've talked about before. Everything from the $20 72-hour food kit to other videos that I've done on things. The idea of just using your money wisely is always good, even if times are not hard. If you have an income that you have to budget carefully, why not be smart with your money, right? Another theme kind of picking up here is the whole idea of fantasy versus reality, because I think a lot of people have some incorrect notions about having to do with weapons maintenance. In particular, I saw a gentleman on a particular forum that I frequent talking about how he thought that placing any investment in firearms at all was just stupid because, past a year, they're all going to be rusted because you're not going to have all your fancy gun cleaning fluids and this, that, and this, all that stuff that you absolutely need to have them to run, which I just thought was kind of weird. But at least I wanted to sort of address that as well. Now, I've got my favorite products for cleaning my guns. I'm a big fan of this stuff, M-Pro 7 gun cleaner. That's probably the best overall gun cleaner out there made. But you know what? This 8-ounce bottle, this will set you back, depending upon where you buy it, anywhere from about $16, $17 to as much as $20 for this 8-ounce bottle. And I'm going to hold it next to my face for scale, because if I put it up there, it looks larger than it is. I also love M-Pro 7's LPX gun oil. This stuff is awesome. It does an incredible job as a lubricant. But here again, we're taking a look at a 2-ounce bottle of this, holding it next to my face. Again, because it's not that big. And that's like $6, $7 for this little bottle of oil. Now these things don't, that's little enough money that you kind of go, well, what is that to take good care of your weapons, right? I also am a big fan of something called Tetra gun grease. I don't have the little tube of it with me right now, but it's about that big. It's a little 1-ounce tube, and that's another $7, $8 for just that little tube. And this will probably last me the better part of 6 or 7 months with the amount of shooting that I do. And I do a lot of shooting. So it's not like it's a terrible investment to spend money on that kind of thing. But if you're trying to be frugal, and particularly if you're trying to plan for long-term set-aside stuff, maybe this isn't the best use of your money. And it's because there are other options that probably do just as good a job, if not absolutely as good a job. And you can save some money that way and stop worrying about your frou-frou ultra gun stuff. Let me talk about some of these in order here. One will be a little controversial right off the bat, and it's this stuff, Simple Green. And I'm going to address the controversy as we go along here. Now, if you read on various gun forums, you'll hear everything from this is the best stuff ever made. There are actually some gunsmithing schools that suggest this stuff they recommend it very, very highly. Simple Green is just great for cleaning guns as far as they're concerned. You'll also hear some people kind of dismissing it and saying, oh, I'd never put that crap on my guns. And the reason for that is because they're probably not using it correctly, or they're not using it in the right context. Right off the bat, this is a concentrated substance. I'd never use this full strength on most firearms or just about anything. The concentration that I would do is I would probably get about an 8-ounce bottle like this, fill it full of 6 ounces of water, the cleanest water that I can get a hold of, preferably distilled. You may not be able to get a hold of that in hard times, but the cleanest water I can get a hold of, and then 2 ounces of this stuff, and I think that's going to make a plenty good gun cleaner. As a matter of fact, I've used that very solution before, and I know a couple of armorers for police departments that's exactly what they use, is that kind of a mixture of Simple Green, 2 ounces to 6 ounces, and they make an 8-ounce bottle, and they take one of these old bottles after it's empty, and they relabel it, and that's what they use. That's all they use for their entire police department for gun cleaner, and it works great. You will hear that it's bad on aluminum. There's a little bit of controversy about that, and that has to do mostly with the airline industry or aircraft industry. If you do dilute it like this, you don't have much of a worry about it damaging aluminum parts. But kind of the general guidelines that Simple Green and competent gunsmiths will tell you is if you're using kind of a diluted substance, don't let a aluminum part soak in this solution for more than about 10 minutes before cleaning it off and then rinsing it in water. And that's something that you want to do on anything with Simple Green, any gun parts that you clean with that solution. You do want to scrub it on, let it set a couple minutes, and then rinse it off completely. with good clean water, and then you don't have a problem with it. I think that's a great way to go. Consider that this 2-liter bottle, that's 67 ounces of this, is about $7 or $8 at Walmart where I picked this up. And you could make a dozen bottles or so of gun cleaner out of this. This will last you a couple of years if times are hard, okay? Great way to go. If you are worried about the aluminum, by the way, they do make a version of this called the Extreme Aircraft and Precision Parts Simple Green, and it's about twice the money. Still not a bad value. So if you're a little bit worried about it, go ahead and get that stuff instead of the basic Simple Green. Gun oil. Over and over and over again, I've heard this, and I just heard it again recently, talking to another police department, armorer, Mobil 1. Just Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil, or any really good high quality grade, synthetic, where does it say synthetic? Synthetic motor oil, advanced synthetic formula. Use that for your gun oil. It's perfect. It works great. And, a quart of this oil will probably last you several years. If you want to get a little crazy, buy 2 quarts. Buy the 5-gallon jug. This was like $5, $6 at Walmart where I picked it up. Boom. If you want a gun grease, some people will say, well, all you need is a cleaner and an oil, and that's good. You're fine. If you need a grease on top of that, the good old canister of lithium grease here that you can pick up again for about $5 or so. This, I know somebody who's had a can of this on his armorer's bench for like 10 years. He's had the same can working on all kinds of people's guns, and he's about halfway through it, and that's all he uses, and he swears by it. He thinks it's better than anything. Thinks it's better than that Tetra crap that you use, talking to me. So there you go. For somewhere around $18, $20, there's all the gun cleaning supplies that I need, aside from things like patches and brushes. Under $20, and I guarantee you, this will last years under ordinary use, even if you have a fairly good complement of weapons to worry about. So, from Zombie Tactics again, survival on the cheap, this time gun cleaning on the cheap. You can call this the $20 gun cleaning kit from Zombie Tactics. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.